Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wally DM. It's been recently spoiled that there is a scroll of Tarrasque summoning in Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. And I immediately thought, how can I include this in my game? Well, here's the scenario. We start a brand new campaign, all the characters are level 5, and a Tarrasque appears in front of them. Roll for initiative. Today we're going to start our campaign off with a TPK. Just a reminder, if you have not joined our Discord yet, I highly encourage you to do so. Come on over and hang out with me and folks that know a lot about D&D. And if you like the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button and pick up my brand new puzzle book, Wally DM's Journal of Puzzle Encounters, available now on DriveThruRPG. So starting your campaign off with the TPK is an insane idea and could be very dangerous. So you want to make sure that you have the right players in your game. And the way to find that out is we're going to start with our session 0. So in our very first session during character creation, as a dungeon master, I would have all of the players create a 5th level version of their character in addition to a 1st level version of their character. And I would also be very, very specific that death is a possibility in this campaign. So now that all of our parameters and expectations are in place, how do we begin our campaign? Well, quite simply, a Tarrasque is summoned, all of the players have their 5th level characters in front of them, and we're going to roll for initiative. Now, the idea of this whole thing, to make it work, is the characters are not going to be able to survive this. So we're going to have to pull out all of the tricks as a DM. We're going to need to have this in a location where they can't retreat or get away. We need to make sure that we've studied our players' characters so that we know what type of spells and what could foil our plan. But the intents and purposes of this is that these 5th level characters are going to fight this monster. Now, as the battle ensues, we're going to need to be fairly vague as to why the characters are fighting this and how they got here. But we can include things as they look about and they're raising their sword up. Perhaps they see someone from their backstory that they care about. Maybe it is a town or village that they have sworn to protect, or there are helpless NPCs that are depending on them to defend and protect the town. Now, of course, we're not going to end our campaign within 20 minutes of beginning. This is just to set up a future event that could possibly happen depending on the player's actions and the actions of their characters. So after the last character falls to the ground and their vision fades to black, then we're going to have all of them set aside their 5th level characters and bring out their 1st level characters. Now, one of the things that I thought of to begin the official campaign is that all 4 of them, or however many characters there are sitting around a table with a crystal ball. In front of them is a fortune teller, and they just watch their own demise to the hands or to the claws of a Tarrasque. So now the hard part begins. The characters have seen the future through this crystal ball by this fortune teller, where they say their entire party wiped out by a Tarrasque. And this could be a factual thing, this could be a possible future, or the fortune teller could be an enemy or antagonist that has shown them a false future. So now the difficult part for the Dungeon Master going from 1st level to 5th level when this supposed event occurs is to, number 1, bring about a sense of dedication or a sense of care for whatever it is that they are protecting or why they're fighting the Tarrasque, whether it is a city or town that they're sworn to defend, or perhaps an NPC or some friends or family members. Now, of course, we can't go from level 1 to level 5 without giving clues and events that are going to lead up to that dreadful day. Our characters could encounter an NPC or perhaps hear some rumors of someone looking for this scroll of Tarrasque summoning. Maybe the characters decide to go find it themselves and destroy it before it can be used. Or maybe they start off with it in their possession and they need to seal it away. And now they begin this long journey to seal it away in a vault or some type of tomb or chamber. And there could also be they just need to find the organization or the villains that are responsible for bringing about this Tarrasque. And they either need to imprison them, they need to defeat them, or they need to get the scroll away from them. Now, of course, as I'm going to play it, this was only a possible future with the characters dying at 5th level. By the time they actually get to that event in the future, they would have adventured together for a long time, and I would give them plenty of opportunities to be able to stop the event of the Tarrasque summoning. Now, if you like the idea of using the TPK to begin your campaign, you don't have to use the Scroll of Tarrasque summoning. That's just what initially inspired me. You could have it where there are portals that open around the characters, perhaps a lot of devils, maybe even Asmodeus, the archdevil himself, or something along those lines. Perhaps they are on a ship and the ship is sunken by a kraken and they all drown. But all in all, it's up to you as the DM. Just remember, number one, to make sure that you have the right players for this type of a storyline. You definitely don't want to upset anyone, so make sure you set all the guidelines in your session 0 before you even begin. I would also encourage you to give maybe a little wink to them for a reasoning behind why they're creating a level 1 character and why they're creating a level 5 character and bringing them both to the table. And of course, the third reason and the most important is you have to make sure that these characters are going to be involved in the story, and you've got to give them opportunities to be able to stop this future event. So that's all I have for you today. What did you think of this idea of starting in the future with the TPK and then beginning your actual campaign at level 1? Do you think that your players would enjoy this type of thing? And what would you do differently if you decided to run this in your game? Be sure to leave a comment below. It helps the channel out a lot. And if you like this type of a video, I've got a lot of different ideas of how to start a campaign that probably aren't as wild as this one. I'd be happy to share them with you. Make sure you leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and on to the next.